So Kelly, I think Kelly can't get back on, so at least now she can hear the second half of this. I didn't record the first half because we were all on. Okay, so Sarah mentioned a great way to sprinkle throughout the show as far as I'm talking about something that came in your kit or talking about something that you earned free. What are some other ways that you could sprinkle that opportunity message throughout the party? Now, we're not talking about the end yet. We're talking about sprinkling throughout. How else?
You can do the dot kind of thing, or the to remind you to say something about recruiting. You know, that product actually did come in the kit, or those kind of things, to also help remind you to focus along that line or to do that as well.
There's always the game.
Summer, go ahead.
I was going to say, there's always the ticket game.
Yep. You can play the ticket game. That's kind of at the end. I'll tell you one of the best ways that I find to sprinkle is just, again, I think this is going to be the theme of this call, is listening. Listening and responding to the guest comments. You know, when you hear somebody during the show talk about maybe struggles with her schedule or struggles with her job, or you know, just different things. If I feel like my Pampered Chef business opportunity has helped me in a situation like that, then I share it at that point. Like, you know, maybe someone says, hear them talk about, well, I don't have time to cook, you know, because I work all this overtime, or you hear somebody talk about just having a bad day. A lot of times people come in to my show complaining about work that day. And that's just an open door for me to talk about an opportunity that I love.
Yep, I agree.
I talk about getting to work with my friends. Talk about different things like that. So listen up for those opportunities as well. Okay, and in closing the party, I've shared this before, but it was the best recruiting example that I'd ever heard when I was at Elevate. And again, talking about some of the home office, what are those? Surveys. The guest said, now I know we've gotten some great response, and I'm not telling anybody to cut a game out, but one of the things that guests say they don't love are games. And so when someone just kind of sits back and talks about the business opportunity in a very real and in a very honest, not a kind of gimmicky kind of way, but just heart to heart, that is what's getting a lot of people's attention. You know, obviously direct sales is growing in popularity, and we know that we have the best product out there. I cannot think of one other product line that would even tempt me with another company. Everybody can use Pampered Chef, and everybody who does loves Pampered Chef. And I say that because you see heads shake when you say it, because people know we've already established a brand that everybody loves. And if they're even thinking about, maybe I could try one of these direct sales companies, and they hear those words, this is a brand that has been established that everybody loves, then that's going to kind of seal the deal with the one they go with. So never underestimate a heart-to-heart, sincere, just talk versus something gimmicky. That I'm not saying don't play a game, because like I say, sometimes that gets information out there, and gets people involved who might not have been otherwise. But
what I did the last party, because sometimes you try to do that question and answer game, and they people just kind of look at you, and I give them like a page of sample questions,
right,
and they still sometimes don't want to participate. So last time I just like picked a guess, and I said, okay, y'all can ask me a question, and nobody said anything, and I was like, oh, how much money do I make? Thank you so much, Susie, for asking that question, and I gave her a ticket. Like just to be funny, but then she got a ticket, and I got to answer, quote unquote, answer a question.
right.
So when people are like super quiet, that's kind of something you can do that'll, at least get them laughing, or, like, okay, that's all. She's supposed to be asking a question. Like, I'm not doing brain surgery over here. People just ask a question.
Right.
So,
right.
And that seemed to work really well to loosen everybody up a little bit.
Yeah. And sometimes a little humor does, kind of lighten the mood, which is great.
Right.
It comes down to personality and to, how you feel comfortable getting the information out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kim, you have anything to add to that?
One of the things that I have done is I have, based on some of more recent training that Tina and I have been through, is they are kind of saying to, some of the games are not quite as looked upon as, like people don't like that. They're trying to get there maybe after a night of being with the kids all day, or perhaps they've, been at work, is they just want to kind of chill out and have time with their friends and, that sort of thing. And, so I think our recruiting sprinkles are going to be more and more important to share just little zingers, because I have kind of stopped playing games and doing the ticket activity. But I still have on my catalogs for everyone to see on the front is a sticker that has a recruiting question on it, so that at least if they see it, they'll be like, well, I wonder, what is this question for? And it gives me an opportunity I do more at the end at full service checkout, and make sure that people go, like they leave with a recruiting brochure, like everybody does. Even if they tell me they're not interested, they still leave with a recruiting brochure. So I go through a lot of recruiting brochures, and sometimes, just depending on how I set up or whatever, I may hand out a recruiting brochure and go over it towards the end when we're wrapping things up and talking about specials and the prize drawing slip and that sort of thing. Sometimes I will pass that out at that point as well. So just depending on how, you get there and things set up and the layout of the house and things like that can lend itself to, not every single party I do every single thing the exact same way. And sometimes I have a very senior moment and forget. So I always make sure that I, do it at checkout for sure. So that's where I do a majority of my connecting with folks, is at checkout.
I love that. Yeah. I love that, leaving the sticker on there, even if you're not doing the game, because you're right. That's a seed planter, and that's creating an interest.
Without a doubt.
I also I made the goodie bags like Jeff showed us at retreat, and that's got it's like a little flyer with did you know blah 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 about the business, and then it's got the recruiting brochure, and I always throw in a mini catalog and like a recipe card, and so I tell them everybody gets a goodie bag at the end of the night. And that's kind of that's one way I keep my catalogs, because I tell them, you will get a mini catalog to take home with you. But if somebody's interested in the business, then, I point out that in that goodie bag is this, and kind of go over it with them. But everybody gets a goodie bag with like Kim said, with the recruiting brochure in it.
Great.
Payday.
We can,
It's got a payday in it. Yeah.
You said you pass out the recruiting brochure to everyone as part of your closing. Is that right?
If I do it during the show, then I'll either pass it out when I'm wrapping things up at the show, but at checkout, I make sure everybody leaves with a recruiting brochure.
What would you think about passing it out to each person, like you said you've done before with your business cards, like in part of the show, but then having them open it up and look through it for the questions? Y'all think that's
good?
No,
that's a great idea. I mean, I have gone through it before and asked them and then flipped over on the back side. I like the new recruiting brochure in that it gives an hourly, like if you spent X number of hours, you can expect to make X number of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And so I will often point that out, that portion of it out. And then also share with them. And, I've got the ones I take to my show have my bags already packed up. I've got a party tonight. Anyway, is the Kit Credit coupon. I tease them with that and go, and there's a $50 coupon that's on the back that you can even get $50 off of that. So let's talk about that when you come to see me at checkout. So
I like just saying there's a $50 coupon in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dig in to find out what it's for.
Right. It's like, I've had looks like people go, what? And so I just leave it like that. Just a little teaser out there so that we can chat about it at the checkout.
And you stick the Kit Credit coupon in the recruiting brochure.
I staple it to the back. I staple it to the back of it, of the recruiting brochure.
Okay. I have just a few things I need to cover in about 3 minutes. Okay. So I want us to think about what we've just talked about. Opening, setting the expectation that they are going to be interested, sprinkling the seeds throughout, and then that final inform and asking the question and inviting. And I want us to, and we're not going to talk about all this right now. What I would really like to see happen is I would like for us to begin sharing some of this. We can do it on Dream On. We can do it in this group, but I would love to see this begin to be shared because I'm not seeing this in any of the virtual parties, but this process in the virtual parties. It's not happening. I haven't been doing it. I've been tossing in something about the business opportunity at the end. I may say it when I go live, but I don't really think it's throughout my party like I intentionally put it in my cooking party. Do y'all agree?
Yes.
So I want us just to think about.
Summer had to leave. She had to go back to work.
I think I sprinkle it in my comments in responses, virtual.
I think I haven't been as much as I need to.
I agree.
So let's think about all the potential for that and ways that we can do that and begin sharing that. Okay?
Yeah, I was having initial success when I first started doing virtual parties. I was having some success in recruiting several people from virtual parties, and but not so much recently. And what I have made a concerted effort is to, when I go live, because I do a 1 hour, I don't know what other people do, but I do a 1 hour where I do a live demo. And in that demo where I'm actually talking, like they can see me live, I talk about the business opportunity more. And so that at the beginning, before we ever start, like when I start setting the party up and everything, I have this long dissertation of why I got started and some pictures and things like that I got from Christina Maniscalco. And so I post that, and then I have a segment after I go live where they get an opportunity to ask me questions, and that has elicited some. But one of the teasers I share during my live video is that, oh my gosh, and John's usually videoing me, and so I'm usually throwing food in his mouth, like, hey, taste this, hey, taste that, literally as I'm sitting there. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, can you believe, like, I just created dinner for us, and this is a write-off. Like, this is one of the best things of this business. And so I'll say something fun, you know, crazy like that or whatever, and just make it a point of, I'm being more deliberate again now about making comments about the business opportunity when I go live, as opposed to relying on just my post to do it.
Okay, so I hesitate on going live sometimes, not because I'm shy about it, but because I have kids, family, crazy life.
Yeah.
Do you think that that is distracting to people and annoying, or makes me relatable?
Both. I watched the video. I mean, it has to be somewhat controllable. I mean, you know, if they start screaming their head off, you're not going to be able to proceed.
Right.
I watched a video the other day on, y'all know when you're scrolling through Facebook and those little eat healthy, what not to eat, they have this pile of stuff on the counter of groceries, and they start talking about different things. Those catch my attention. And so I was watching this girl do that the other day, and while she is, you know, standing here in her little bitty exercise clothes and talking about all these healthy foods, her son ran up, asked her a question. She responded, you know, very nicely, but, you know, I'm in the middle of this. I'm going to handle that as soon as I finish, whatever. And then I just began to read the comments as that happened, and that kid got more people's attention because they realize she's a real mom. She's just, you know, it just makes you relatable sometimes. So, you know, when it's out of control and you can't focus and nobody can hear you.
Yeah.
I would not freak out at all over the occasional interruption. I would handle it, you know, sweet and firm and move on.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and it can be where you record something that you upload to the party that you've done at 11 o'clock at night that the kids are in bed or something.
Which is what I've been doing. That works better for me.
Yeah. Well, my parties are not hour long either. My parties are 7 days. And so if I want to cook dinner on a Tuesday night and do that live in my party day where I do most of my postings is until, say, Thursday, they would still see it because they're going to the party. So it doesn't have to be all on the same day at the same time.
Right.
That was, for me, it's harder. It's really restrictive for me. And
I would look for times when is better, like Kim said, night after they all go to bed, or, you know, one morning before they all get up, or when whatever. I would look for those times, but I also wouldn't really freak out about it either.
Yeah, I mean, if you know that, you know, if they're all wide awake and they're, you know, going full force, then I wouldn't schedule to do a complete meal at that time. You know, maybe it's the popcorn popper or the whipped cream maker. But if it's like, hey, I can show the double burner grill pan and grill some chicken and you eat it tomorrow, because quite honestly, I tell them, oh my gosh, I just made dinner, and the reality of it is it goes in the refrigerator and it's John's lunch the next day.
Or dinner the next night, or
right. And so, yeah. So, and I start my posting a week before as well. So like when I set up a 1 hour for me set up a week before. And then I do typically one post a day until it's a couple of days before, and then there's more post.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So we also have an opportunity to recruit. We're doing a virtual opportunity event on July the 10th at 8 o'clock, Monday, July the 10th. I have been in that group. We're going to keep the same group that we had last time, so all the same people are going to be in there. I am deleting the comments from last time so we can kind of start fresh, and I'm just updating it. I really didn't mean to delete my banner, but then I thought I probably needed to refresh it, but now I can't find a banner. So Sarah she showed me the one that the home office had, just that had the ice cream maker with join this month to get this, which I think definitely needs to be posted. I really like the idea of the banner being more of an explanation of what the group is, like find out why Pampered Chef. I liked that. So if y'all see those, if I don't see one soon, I'll create one, but I would love to have something fresh and new if y'all see anything.
I can probably make one in Canva pretty quick. So it's just, I need to know what you want to say. Okay,
we'll talk about that. But I'm going to post that on Dream On, so make sure that I would personally message the people that I had already invited that are in the group who haven't signed. And let's kind of make this fresh and new, add some new people, and we'll also have some testimonies going on. The last time, I think everybody did those live, and I think the live ones are great. I wouldn't mind some being written out, too, to kind of mix it up a little bit. And we'll get that going for Monday.
Okay. The other thing I was going to share was that I'm doing a recipe night on Thursday, July the 20th. Thursday, July the 20th. I'm doing a recipe night here. And then the other I was going to suggest is, and I just pulled it up, if you go to YouTube and type in Pampered Chef Recruiting, you will see other leaders in the company doing recruiting conversations, what they're doing at their parties, what they're saying. You could spend hours. Like just people came up, Charlotte Nagai, Sharon Zellin, and other people. Claudia Bazar, I think is how you say her last name. Anyway, lots and lots and lots and lots of options there, and what people are doing to in the area of recruiting. And then one final thing that has had limited some success. It's about I'm at about 3 or 4 that have signed at a party, because I do a quick start bag, and it's something that Christina Maniscalco talked about again. No, it wasn't. It was Grace Bott talked about it. Gosh, probably over a year ago. And so I take a couple of little gift bags that have an old apron in it. It's got the recruiting brochure in it. It's got the updated new consultant incentive flyer in there, and it's got a vintage Season's Best in there, which means old. And then it has fake money attached to the outside, that if they take that, I will give them, it's 2 $5 bills, fake dollars, that I will give them $10 off of their kit, that I have either given them at the event, or at, like, I sent them a check, one of the two. Like,
they'd have to order their kit that night for me to. Correct.
They do. They have to.
Yeah.
You have to do that. And I've had 3 people take me up on that at
that's pretty awesome.
A recipe night or at a party, just in the past, this year.
What would you suggest putting in there if somebody did not have a vintage?
A current one. A current Season's Best.
Apron.
Oh, and I thought you said if they didn't have a oh.
I said vintage, but I meant just an old apron. Because an apron comes in the kit.
Yeah, and I had a bunch, and then I have a bunch more now from this pilot program that Johnny and I did. I have lots and lots of aprons now, but anyway, so I think we can get some at conference too. Is if you have any old ones that like you're not using, we have the updated gray ones, and I know that everybody here got a black one when they signed. You know, you might want to be willing to give that up, or any other. Gosh,
Yeah.
We've got any flipping aprons, and then I would look for them at conference in the mystery bags, mystery boxes, whatever they're called.
What if we put like a weekly, daily, an inexpensive weekly, monthly planner in there?
Sure.
Because they want to, you know, we say, okay, get a calendar, have a calendar ready.
I love that, Sarah.
Sure.
Because we can find them at the dollar store. I mean.
Yep.
I love that.
Yep, you can do that.
Great ideas. Okay, so I'll post the homework. In closing, let's go back to the beginning of this call. I want you to take some time today and do some just really thinking about your goal, about directorship, about what that means on different levels for you. And I want you to make some type of visual for yourself. I don't care what it is. I want you to have a visual for yourself. Don't take a lot of time. Sarah, don't pull out all your craft supplies and start cut time doing it. But just do some kind of visual for yourself. And show us if you want to. Might help somebody else. Love it.
We made these at Kim's on first meeting of the month.
I love it. I want you
I mean,
to
for the year, didn't we, Kim?
I love that.
I just got
Do something again that's easy, quick, and that's from today.
From today. Okay.
Okay? Tell us where you're going to put it. If that one's in your office, tell us where you're going to put another one. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Y'all have a great day.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.